Hi, this is Musa, continuing my series on Slav defense, opening and middle game problems for black. I would like to focus today on the same variation that I've focused previously on, bringing you a game of Magnus Carlsen's. This game was played in 2003 against Lawrence Maximilian, and just to notify you guys, I've previously did a similar, very similar game in Arabic commentary, and it's found on this channel. And in this game, Magnus started with d4, Maximilian played d5, c4, c6, knight to f3, knight to f6, knight to c3, and d takes c4. And here we go with a4 and bishop to f5. Magnus chose knight to h4, even though he has knight to e5, e3, and g3 as main alternatives. After knight to h4, which had been previously played by him against other opponents, the previous game we had e6 protecting the bishop and opening the dark squared bishop, the diagonal for the dark squared bishop, and after which knight took on f5, doubling the f-file pawns. But black here chose bishop to d7. He could have also chose bishop to g4, provoking the f3 move, and then he could go back to d7. But here we have bishop to d7 immediately, and Magnus played e3, attacking the pawn on c4. Maybe the bishop d7 move was having high hopes of protecting the free pawn on c4. Let's see. Black here played b5, and Magnus played knight to f3, as a takes b5, c takes b5 achieves nothing and gets the dark square bishop, the light square bishop, my apologies, to life. So Magnus played knight to f3, which is the best move, and here black played queen to b6, supporting the majority on the queen side and maybe having ideas to attack on the queen side. Other alternatives include e6, opening the diagonal for the dark squared bishop, and after which e5, b4, attack the knight, and black is fine. But we have queen to b6, knight to e5, typical move, and now bishop to c8, a bit of slight inaccuracy here for black. Instead, black could have played after knight e5, b4, and if white here wants to risk sacking a piece, he could have played bishop to c4, and if b takes c3, then bishop takes f7 check. After king to d8, he could play a5, attacking the queen, and if queen to b4, then b takes c3. If queen takes c3, then bishop to d2, and black's queen is cooked. So maybe after b takes c3, then queen goes back to b7, then a6, attacking the queen once again, queen to b6, and c4, marching the pawns towards the queen and getting black into somewhat of a zugzwang. Anyways, black here played bishop to c8, maybe valuing his light square bishop. And here we have a takes b5, c takes b5, and now Magnus played knight takes b5. This knight is getting sacked in many variations, don't you guys see? Queen takes b5, and now bishop takes c4 with the protection of the knight on e5, and queen went back to b7, and here goes white, opening an unstoppable attack. Bishop takes f7 check, king to d8, bishop to d2, now planning to land on a5 with a check, and black here played e6, maybe trying to find a safe place for the king. After moving the knight on f6, then black can escape to the king side. But what about knight b d7 here? Isn't it a lot safer? So After e6 we have bishop to a5, continuing in the main plan. And now king to e7, queen to a4, threatening the obvious. What's the obvious here? Queen to e3, queen to a3. And black here played knight to d5, as the following move will not work. For example, if bishop to d7, then queen to a3 check. And what are you gonna do? Block with the queen on b4? It's mate. And same thing if knight to c6, then queen to a3, and white is getting an attack plus a piece back, and maybe a mate in a few moves. So black here played knight to d5, planning to escape with the king, but now here comes queen to a8 check, king to f6, he escaped, and Magnus played knight to g4. Maybe if he played bishop to d8, he would have tortured his opponent a lot more. After bishop to e7, open an attack on the queen, knight to g4 check, king to f5, and now queen takes h8. But Magnus chosen a good move here by playing the knight to g4 check, king to g5, h4 check, and the king chose g4 to take. If he plays king to f5, then bishop takes e6, bishop takes e6, queen to h5, king to e4, and now rook to d1. And how can you defend e5 square or f3 in some variations? So the king here took on g4, and after bishop to e6, black resigned for obvious reasons. If he takes e6 here, then queen takes e6. After king to h5, g4, mate. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in other Slav defense videos, hopefully. Bye for now.